Oh, good morning, Universal Spirit Center. Oliver. So good to see you this morning and this lovely October. Whew. You are the sunshine of my life. Oh, yeah, yeah. That's why I'll always be around. Oh, yeah. You are the apple of my eye. Yeah, yeah. Forever you stay in my soul. I feel like this is the beginning. Though I've loved you for a million years. Ooh, 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 ooh. And if I thought our love was ending, I would find myself drowning in mountains. Oh, you are the sunshine of my life. Oh, yeah. That's why I'll always be around and around and around and around and around. Yeah. You are the apple of my eye. Yeah. Forever you stay in my soul. Play it, Oliver. Woo. Oliver Shirley on bass. Oh, yeah. You are the sunshine of my you and you and you and you. That's why I'll always be around. Don't ever do that, baby, no. You are the apple of my eye. Yeah, yeah. Forever you stay in my soul. Good morning, Universal Spirit Center. It's so good to have you back this morning, and let's give some love for our amazing sounds of spirit. Linda on keys, Oliver on bass, and Matt on drums. It's always nice to have the gang back in the house. My name is Gino Walker. I'm your music production director, and I'm glad to be here with you today. So let's stand up, let's get that energy moving in the body, and let's sing our congregational song. Sing it out to everybody. Sing it at home, wherever you are, virtually. I release and I let go. I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith, I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. Oh, 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 I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life. and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No, no, no more strife, no more strife. With my faith, I see the light. I am free in the spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. Come on. I release and I let go. I don't believe you. Only here for no more strife, no more strife. With my faith, I see the light. I am free in the spirit. Yes, I'm only here. I'm only here. You're only here. We're only here for God.
Good morning. Good morning and welcome to Universal Spirit Center. I'm so glad you're here today. I'm Kevin Busey. I have the great joy and honor to be the spiritual leader of our community, and I welcome you to our progressive, inclusive spiritual community. So just know, whoever you are, wherever you are on your spiritual path, you are deeply loved, and you are welcomed here. So we're glad you're with us. We've got some new faces today. If I haven't met you yet, I would love to meet you after the gathering if you're new with us today. And thanks for being here. And a welcome also to all of you who join us online as our virtual community. We're glad that you join us on Sundays as well. So I can't believe this. I've been saying this a lot on the first Sundays of the month, but we're in October. Gosh. So what that means is what we want to do is acknowledge everyone who was born in October. If you were born in October, please stand. We want to, Valerie and Dave. Happy anniversary, Annette. Wow. Some cool people. Not as cool as Capricorns, but you're... But I want to, John, would you stand up? Today is actually John's birthday. Yeah. Yeah. All right. So last week, for those of you who are new with us today, I'll let you know last week, we celebrated 22 years as spiritual community. 22. Oh. 20. I was there. Okay. 23. I meant to say 23 years as spiritual community. Yeah, we're going into our 24th. Okay. 23 years. And I just have to acknowledge, we had a phenomenal celebration. Not only here, but we took it to the beach. So, Stephanie, would you stand? Stephanie led us in a very powerful ritual of releasing and manifesting. And we did it on the beach. And Stephanie, everyone who attended was so moved. And what was interesting about this experience, we had a meal at the beach. And there were a number of people who just happened to join us who happened to be at the beach. And then I watched them, and they really got in to the ceremony that you had facilitated for us. So it was very powerful. So thank you so much. And then Su Yin and Bob, Su Yin, stand Su Yin. Su Yin and Bob did two things. They did the planning and they did the setup of it, which really is no small feat because there were about 70 of us there. So that's a feat to feed, to do all of that. So thank you so much for that. Who else helped? Who else? Gino. Gino was she barbecued. She was the chef. She barbecued food for us, which is really good. You ran out of the veggie burgers, but I moved through that. I'm not holding on to that. So acknowledged, So yeah, thank you. It's very powerful experience to come together and to celebrate being together for 23 years. Even if we weren't there at the beginning, we're in this energy. And even today, if you're new with us today, you just come into that energy. So thank you.
Deanna took the pictures that were...
Deanna, you took the pictures? Diana, I'm sorry, you took pictures? Good. All right. One more thing I want to say is, for those of you who are new and those of you who aren't new, periodically throughout the year, I teach the introductory course to our teaching, Science of Mind and Spirit. So what I'm seeing is if there's enough interest out there to do it again, to run it now. That's what I'm wondering. There's a sign-up sheet at the Yes table, which is outside the door. If you're interested possibly in finding out more about our teachings and or the power of spiritual community, this might be a good class for you. How many of you have taken Foundations? Raise your hand. How many of you would recommend it, honestly, to someone else? And I think you might. It's life-changing. It is life-changing. What we do is we apply spiritual principles to our lives, and then we watch our lives transform. So there's that invitation for you. And now I had forgotten my headset, so I need to go put on the other mic as someone else comes up here. Bonnie! Come on.
Hello, everyone. I'm Bonnie Tavalazzi, and I'll be doing some announcements today.
Hello, Bonnie.
Okay, the Racial Equality Project Call to Action, the history of Hispanic Heritage Month. Watch this video. It gives us more background information on how Hispanic Month came to be and why it's Hispanic and not Latino. Awakening Wednesday with Selena Maitreya, virtually online only at 6:30 on Wednesday. We'll explore these questions. What is observation and its frequency? The difference between observation and judgment, and the benefits of observation and how observation activates the intuitive body. That's all I had. Thank you.
Thank you, Bonnie. All right, so we're going to try this thing again. We tried in September. I'm bringing it back again, the monologue acting class. October 22nd, we will start Monologue Moments Mastery. And then we will have a performance during the holiday season. How great could that be, right? You can have your family, your friends, your neighbors come and see. So we'll do monologues, we'll do one-act plays, depending on how many people we have. There's an interest list out on the table. It'll be Tuesday night. So go sign up, and I'll answer more questions, but let's get this thing happening.
Good morning. I'm Annette, and I'm your treasurer.
Hi, Annette.
As you know, we're really big into celebrations here. So as treasurer, I chair a committee which is sort of like your abundance committee, which is always looking for fresh new ideas of raising money for our center. So one of the ideas that came up is called Pies of Gratitude. So what that means is I'm looking for people who love to bake pies at home and then bring them the Sunday before Thanksgiving, and they will be sold to members of our community. So I'm looking for people who'd like to make 1 pie, 2 pies, 3 pies. You know, we're hoping we have at least 20 pies because Lorraine and I have personally committed to buy 5 each. Yeah, so the first $350 is already in the bank. So if you love to buy pies or want to buy a pie, please see me after the services. We're going to have a sheet in the Yes table afterwards, not today, but for the rest of the month. So please, think about baking a pie and helping us with our abundance. Thank you.
Good morning. I'm Bob Mozai, and I have the rest of your announcements today. So, Community Room Experience After our gathering today, stay and enjoy muffins and some quiche sponsored by Debbie and Elizabeth. Can you stand up, please? So give us like 10 minutes or so to move the chairs and set up the tables and bring out the food. And if you have any questions about what we talked about today, the announcements, please go online to universalspiritcenter.org for all your answers. And finally, I was washing my car yesterday with one of my friends. And when we got done, he said, "Hey, Bob, can we use a sponge next time?" Washing my car with my friend.
Bob and his joke. So I'm going to invite you, as is our tradition, to please stand and turn around, and below the clock is a camera where hundreds of people are watching us around the world. So let's acknowledge and welcome all the people watching us, and stay standing and welcome each other to Universal Spirit Center. We need to stop. Give him
Good morning, everyone. If we could start finding our seats, that would be lovely. Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Christine.
That's right. Good morning. I know it seems impossible that you don't know who I am, but for those, who just, my name, I know I can't. Christine Thompson, one of the many licensed practitioners here. Thank you. I think Reverend Kevin said it just a few minutes ago about we've been here quite some time, going into 24 years together. And even though we might have moved spots a few times, it doesn't really matter what spot we're in. It's the spot, because of the people that are in the spot. So, right, we're spot on. Yes, chef. So, for those of you who are new here this morning, we welcome you, and thank you for adding you to the spot, right? So for however it took, for however long, to share, this time and place and space with each other, thank you for being here today. So I have the great honor and pleasure of leading us in our reading, in the invocation and the silence, and then having Gino lead us in song. So I'm going to ask you to get really comfy in your chair. And if it serves you to close your eyes, please do that. And feel your feet on the ground and your back on the chair. And we're just going to take a deep breath in to even get more snuggly. And so our reading this morning is from Ernest Holmes, who's the founder of Science of Mind and Spirit. And he shares with us today, a new light is coming into the world. We are on the borderland of a new experience. The veil between spirit and matter is very thin. This is in line with the evolution of the great presence, and nothing can hinder its progress. Imagine the great presence already here. Imagine that great presence and that new light is each one of us. Imagine then a world in which that presence and that new light is the thing that is orchestrating itself as each of us. That it already says yes, and it says yes, and it says yes, and it continues to be this great presence of light and love and vastness and stability and oneness and this giving of itself in the center of all of our beings. It is that thing that beats our hearts and breathes our breaths and continues to show up in this transformative way like we are doing here at Universal Spirit Center. That great presence, that great call, that great light so many years ago, now 24 years in existence because Reverend Kevin said yes. And so here then this morning, in that great yes, in that powerful presence of all the hands and the hearts that say yes to being here, and all of the machinations of the chairs and the IT and the songs and in the lyrics and in the band and in all of it. I know then this morning that the presence and that light that is so very thin is transformative. It is the thing that is the thing that is the thing. And it says thank you to each of us. So in gratitude and thanksgiving for being here, and in answering that call to the yes, and in answering that call to love, and in answering that call for transformation, that is each of us. So as we go on with our celebration this morning, I know that it is what is happening for each of us. So let's just rest right here with this big swell of joy and presence and light and love. And as we anchor in this yes, let's say together, and so it is.
Will your heart and soul say yes? Will your spirit just say yes? Yeah, 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 yeah. There is so much more inside of you. Let your heart and soul say yes. So just say yes. Open up your heart and tell the Lord yes. Yes. Yeah, yes. Yeah, 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 yes. Say, I am willing, Spirit. I am listening, Spirit, 'cause this time I'm made up in my mind. I'm made up in my mind. I'll say yes. My soul says yes. My heart says yes. My mind says yeah, 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 yeah. Yes, I will, Spirit. Yes, yes, yes. Open up your heart and tell the Lord yes. Say yes, say yes, yeah, 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 yes. Say, I am listening, Spirit. I can hear you, Spirit. This time my soul is open, my heart is open, I'll say yes. My soul say yes. Open up and say yeah, 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 yeah. I am listening, Spirit, I am listening. I can hear you, I can feel you, I know you're with me. I am saying yes. Can you say yes? Will you say yes? Let your soul say yes. Come on and say yes. Oh, yeah, 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 yeah. Now, inside your spirit right now, can you feel the yes? Can you feel the yes? Just hold it in your heart right now and whisper to yourself, yes, yes, yes. My soul says yes. My heart says yeah, 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 yeah. I'm listening, I'm with you, I know you're with me, Spirit, yeah. My soul says yes. My heart, my mind, I see the Spirit and I say yes. Yes. So say yes. So say yeah. Yeah. Will your heart and soul say, will you say it with me? Yeah, yeah.
Wow, who's ready to say yes? Who's ready? Wow. If we believed in an altar calls, we'd do one right now. Wow, yes, yes, yes. We're ready to say yes. So the first month we were in existence, which was what, 23 years ago, first month, the theme for the month was the invitation. Now, we were just starting, right? So our first Sunday in, is my sound okay? Okay. I guess I don't need to yell. I feel like I'm yelling. I'm so excited to say yes. So the first Sunday in October, we had already met one Sunday in the end of September, right? So we had a little gathering. But what we were doing in October, we were sending out an invitation, both verbally and through marketing and through our energy, an invitation to San Diego to come and gather and create inclusive, welcoming, progressive spiritual community. That was the call upon San Diego. That was the call, right? So, because we were starting, we were gathering. So we were gathering to form spiritual community. And a number of people back in those days, a number of people responded. I've got to get my notes here. Hold on. A number of people responded, and so that was the first part of the invitation. But really, the second part was to heed the invitation of divine love upon our souls, to respond to the divine call upon our souls to love. That was foundational, because if we didn't have that, if we didn't gather together to say yes to love, what were we doing? What were we doing? So, you know, today, it's the same call. It's to say yes to the call of love in our lives. However we find it, it's to say yes to the call. It's the same call. You know, it's scary. It's scary to say yes to love. It's scary because one of the things that love demands of us is that we show up as ourselves. You know, we move beyond the masks and the defenses and the excuses and the judgments. And we stand vulnerable in front of the people that we're loving or that are loving us. And so I usually tell this story around this time, and I feel this morning kind of led to tell this story. So when the co-founder, I co-founded along with a guy, Williams, who's a minister now in Fallbrook. And we got together for the first months, and we prayed and thought, is this really what Spirit is calling us to do, is to start a community? You know, and when we got clear of the yes, I remember one night we were praying, or Guy and I were talking, kind of planning the community. We were getting ready to announce it publicly. We hadn't yet, but we were getting ready to announce to San Diego that we're doing this. And Guy lived about 10 minutes from where me and my partner Tim lived at the time. And so I remember walking home from his house after this meeting about gathering, starting a spiritual community, and getting ready to announce it. And I remember getting really scared. I'm like, what am I thinking? To have to show up vulnerable and raw and exposed, to leave any kind of somewhat private life and move into more of a public life. And by the time I got home from that 10-minute walk, I was freaking out. And I remember coming up and getting into my bed, and my partner was there, and Tim, and he kind of woke up, and I said, you know, Guy and I were just meeting. He knew that, and I said, you know, I'm really scared about starting this church, this center. And he says to me, this is my recollection. He has a different story, but my recollection is, he turned to me and he said, I always knew you would start a spiritual center. And then he rolled over and went back to sleep. And that conviction of truth anchored and aligned me. So I want to say that because just because love is scary doesn't mean we back away from it. Because love, if we allow it, moves us beyond our masks and our borders and our boundaries and our fears and our excuses and our limitations and our judgments into an experience of infinite love. And this is why we gather. So the other morning, I'm sitting in stillness in my backyard, meditation. And I knew the invitation was the theme. So I got really quiet, you know. I got really quiet, and I went in, and I just asked Spirit, what should I say this morning? What should I say? What should I say about invitation? And here's what I got so clearly. Here's what I got. Tell them that they are so deeply loved tell them that they are loved without measure. So I'm here to tell you, you are so deeply loved without measure or reserve, not for anything you've done or not done, not for anything you've become, but simply because you are. Simply because you are. So I thought of that message. I thought, wow, that's quite a message of love. And I thought, maybe this is the absolute point of our lives. Maybe it's the purpose, the point, the mission. It's this: to awaken to how deeply loved we are. Because if we do that, we can't help but be a reflection of love out in the world. So it's not a love that is self-centered or ego-driven. It's not that kind of love. It's a love that's like the divine, self-givingness out. So as we welcome a place within ourselves for love, it can't help but radiate out into the world. And folks, this is exactly how we transform the world. This is exactly how we transform the world. I don't mean in what I'm going to say now to be in any way judgmental. I'm talking about this from my own experience. Now you're all really listening to me. Now you're all awake. When I grew up in a church where at 7 years old, they said we reached the age of reason. I think that's some old, maybe psychological thing. Age of reason at 7, I think that's a thing. So at 7 years old, we were able to commit sin, and we were able, a tradition I grew up with, to achieve mortal sin. And mortal sin meant that God, this kills me to say this, God actually turns his back on us when we commit. How many of you remember that? Some of you remember that. God actually, a 7-year-old could cause God, infinite love, to turn its back on us. But I'll tell you, you Protestants and Jewish people had nothing on it. We had nothing on you. You had your own version of it, right? And even if you didn't, in our psyche, is this belief that we're not enough, that we're not lovable, right? So maybe that simply is the call on our lives. To love ourselves in such a way, or to open to the experience of love in such a way that there's no longer a room for a lower consciousness or vibration that we're not lovable, right? We can root out those lower vibration energetic thoughts and energies by claiming a higher one, that we're lovable. I grew up just kind of missing the hippie era. Just missed it. I envied those of you who were hippies, because I clearly wanted to be one, but it was hard to be a hippie and do the things that hippies did when I had a strict curfew that I had to be in. But I saw you doing your things out there. I saw you. And for me, I thought it would be cool to be a hippie. So at the same time I'm thinking that, I'm learning about Jesus. I'm learning how Jesus gave out free love. I'm learning how Jesus was so connected to nature. I learned how Jesus was bucking the status quo. I saw in pictures Jesus had long hair. I'm like, Jesus was a hippie. And so that reinforced my whole desire, A, to be a hippie, and to think Jesus was cool. And I will give it to the young nuns in my particular church that I grew up in. They played on that Jesus was kind of like a hippie, you know, to make us all pre-adolescent kids kind of fall in love with Jesus. And I remember my parents sitting around with my uncle and aunt and complaining about hippies, because hippies were the thing to complain about for the older generation in those days. And complaining about him. And I'm sitting there thinking, don't you realize Jesus was a hippie? And they didn't realize that. So one of the stories, I grew up in the stories of Jesus, right? And one of them that just breaks my heart wide open in love is when Jesus would be walking along the shore or walking in a town, and he would see someone, and they would look at him, and they would see him, and he would say to them, "Come, follow me." And those people left their jobs, their roles, their identity. In that moment, they left everything, and they followed love. Because our understanding of Jesus was, he opened so radically to divine love that it transformed him such to the degree that when people with an open heart heard him or saw him, they experienced love. So these folks that were called by love said yes, unreservedly in that moment. Where are you being called to love? And we want to share, where are you in your life right now? Where are you being called? The election. Thank you, Joe. The election. To love what's going on with the election. Who else? Yeah, James. Your neighbor. We don't share the same neighbor, do we? No, you live in another part of town. Yeah. I hear you, buddy. Elizabeth. To be authentic. Yeah. So your call to love is to be authentic, to be who you are, beyond the masks. Yeah, good. Blade. Your clients. The call to love with your clients. Yeah, Julie. I'm sorry. Ruth, that's right. Your family. So family's a strong call to love, right? Joel. Alert, aware, and conscious in present time. Thank you. Yeah, Annette. Your aging body, to love our aging bodies, right? That's a thing. You who are young, just wait. Brittany. You're a teenager. You'll get through it, but I get that. Yeah, I get that. Okay, good. So I'm going to invite you really to just ask yourself, your soul, the divine, ask your life. Where in the context of your life are you being called to love? Some years back, there was I cannot remember her full name, Julia something. But she came and gave a workshop here to the Science of Mind community. Julia, she's the woman who some 20 years ago, she climbed a tree and wouldn't come down. For Julia, butterfly. And she wouldn't come down from it because they were threatening to chop this tree. So listen to this, for 2 years. She lived in this tree for 2 years. It's a statement to not cut down trees. You know, it was a powerful statement. And she came and she spoke, and it was quite a, and she wrote a book, and I'm sorry, I can't remember the name of the book, but what? Luna, is that the book? I don't remember. That's the name of the tree. Okay, the name of the tree was Luna. Yeah. Julia Butterfly is her name. So anyway, she's talking to us about this experience, which can you imagine? And you know, and she talked about initially the construction tree cutter guys were hostile towards her. And over time, they developed some really good connections and friendships. That's what love does. That's what love does. So at the end of the conference, at the end of her talk, she did a question and answer. And and I'm standing in the back, very interested in what she's saying. So someone raised their hand and asked her a question. And they said, what should we do? How do we respond? What do we do? And I'm thinking, I got a moment of panic, thinking she's going to tell us to go find a tree and live in it, or something equally as radical, right? And I'm like, oh my gosh. And I felt a moment of anxiety, because you're so inspired, right? You want to say yes, so make it easy enough that I could say yes, you know. So she said this in response to what do I do? She says, do what you love. Do what you love. It's about love. It's about love. So when I got really still this week and I asked, you know, what is it that I should say to you? And I got so strongly the message to tell them they are loved without measure. There was a second part to that message. And it was, stop struggling. Just stop trying so hard. Come present to yourself. Come present to each other in such a way that you experience love. Stop the excuses, the struggles, the judgment. Come into an experience of stillness. And here's the thing. When we get still enough, quiet enough, we will hear the universe calling us to love, because love is the very fabric and fiber of the universe. So when you and I can get out of our own dramas and excuses and not enough, and clearly come into the moment, we hear the call to love. So I want to close with something because it's on my mind, and one of our former members died about a month ago, and many of us were at his celebration yesterday, and this was said at his celebration. So I also want to say it this morning. So I mentioned my partner, and for those of you who are new, 9 months ago, my partner of 24 years suddenly died. So an experience of no longer is he. This is where the mind grieves, I think. I've been reading about the grieving brain. This is how or why the brain grieves. The person we love who dies is no longer in space and time, I don't know if this makes sense. They're no longer in time or in space. And when we, especially a significant other, child, parent, partner, especially when we're connected with them, mostly we know where our loves are. We just know. We know they're at work, or maybe after work they call us, they're on their way home. We just kind of know. We know generally maybe especially if they're younger, where our kids are. But, we have a general sense of that, right? And we want to know where our loved ones are. That's part of connection and intimacy, to know where someone is. So what's radical about that is when someone dies, they're removed from that type of connection. And that's a thing. That's a thing. So no longer can we, on the earth form, we can communicate with them, but on the physical earth form, we can't talk to them like we did and hear from them like we did. So I'm telling you on this side of grief that I wish there were things I would have said that I didn't say. And I can say it to him in spirit, but I can't tell his face. So I'm making a spiritual practice now not to leave anything unsaid with those whom I love. So if there is a disagreement I have, if there is a lack of an understanding, as someone may not be quite sure that I love them, I'm making it a spiritual practice to do that. I think it's an Old Testament verse that says, don't let the sun go down on your anger. It's that kind of thing. Before we start a new cycle of light, a day, let's clean it up. Let's be clear about our communications. That is a powerful practice to love. That's a powerful practice. Ernest Holmes, the founder of this philosophy, says this, and I only discovered this line, and I've been studying him for 30 years, but I only discovered this line a couple weeks, about a month ago, and he says this: love everyone and begin at once. There's not except unless, but, however, it's not that. Love calls our souls out from hiding. Love calls our souls out from hiding. We're here to experience love. So I'm going to invite you to take a deep breath. I'm going to invite you to close your eyes. Move your shoulders back a bit and just allow your heart to open. And as Gino so masterfully called us earlier, I'm going to call you to say yes. Just right now, in the context of your own life. To say yes to love. To survey your life. And ask your life, where are you being called to say yes to love? Where is the call in your life to love. So let's just breathe in now. And let's hear this morning as gathered spiritual community. Let's open to divine love, to infinite love, to God's love, just as we are, just as we aren't. Let's just open right now. And this isn't based on anything you've done or not done, anyone you've pretended to be or not be. It's not about that. Just open to and experience divine, infinite love right now. Just let it fill your being and move through you. Let's just give over to love. Let's say yes to divine love. Let's say yes to infinite love. Let's just, in this moment, allow ourselves to be deeply loved.
There's nothing worth more that could ever come close. Nothing can compare. You're a living hope. Your presence, Lord. I've tasted and seen of the sweetest of sweet, but my love comes to be, and my heart is made free. Your presence, Lord. And we sing, Holy Spirit, you are welcome here. Come flood this place and fill the atmosphere. Your loving presence always lives in me. To be in love with your presence, Lord. Your presence, Lord. Now, if you feel called, lift your voice up and sing along with us. Holy Spirit, you are welcome here. Come flood this place and fill the atmosphere. Your loving spirit always lives in me. To be in love with your presence, Lord. Your presence, Lord. Come on, you're getting it. Let's do it again. Holy Spirit, you are welcome here. Come flood this place and fill the atmosphere. Your loving spirit always lives in me. To be in love with your presence, Lord. Your presence, Lord. Let's sing it out like we mean it. Holy Spirit, you are welcome come here. Come flood this place and fill the atmosphere. Your loving spirit always lives in me. To be in love with your presence, Lord. Your presence, Lord. It just feels so good. Okay, one more time. Come on, come on. We can do it. Oh, you are welcome here. Flood this place, fill up the atmosphere. Your loving spirit always lives inside of each of you. To be in love with your presence, Lord. Your presence, Lord. I want to dwell in your presence, Lord. In your presence, Lord. We just take it in and as we send it out to everyone. Holy Spirit, you are welcome here. You're welcome in my heart. Come flood this place. Fill my mind. Fill that atmosphere. You know, your loving spirit, it always lives in me no matter what's going on. To be in love with your presence, Lord. Your presence, Lord. Your presence, Lord.
Hey, Gina. My name is Al Floyd, and outside of remembering dates of Grateful Dead shows, I'm not too good with dates, but I think this hippie has been a member for 19 years. And, you know, this community transforms people. I'm not the same person I was 19 years ago, and a large part of that change is this community. I look down and I see Joe, and Joe came up with the idea that I should be in this play. And I think it was put on by the Silver Sages or something. That's just a fancy name for you have to be old to be in this play. And it was at the Diversionary Theater. And yeah, so you have this straight hippie at a gay theater. This is spirit in action. And but in the process of doing that play, I got to be partially healed for Vietnam. And I couldn't have thought of that in a million years, but Spirit did. Spirit knew what it was doing. I look out in this audience, and I can look at my life over the past 19 years, and it's like, wow. And it is a place of love. I remember the first time I walked in when we were at the lodge, it was like, oh my God, I don't believe I feel this good, and I can't believe people are acting like this for real. And I think, you know, I was a skeptic for almost a year. And I finally got pummeled in love. The classes, the service I've done here, it's etched my heart for life. And this truly is my spiritual home. And if this is my home, I have to take care of it. I have to maintain it. And it means I have to pay for the electricity, I have to pay for the water, I have to pay for new chairs, I have to pay for new painting. And I just can't wish those things to happen. I have to put money into this thing. And I want this thing to keep going. And I really, from the bottom of my heart, I ask that you pledge financially as much as you can. And they say, if you're here for the first time, your presence is the gift. Give a tip. And so say after me, as I receive, I give out. And as I give out, I receive. And so it is.
I love that, Al Floyd. Give a tip. And you virtually online, hit our QR codes. We appreciate all the loving support that you give as well. And so as we join together and get ready to sing our conscious giving song, Flow Through Me. Flow, Spirit, flow through me as I open up to be an expression of your unfolding peace. Show, Spirit, show through me as I open up to be an expression of your unfolding love. Flow, Spirit, flow through me as I open up to be an expression of your unfolding peace. Show, Spirit, show through me as I open up to be an expression your unfolding love. Come on, give it to me. Flow, flow through me, open up my heart and let the peace run through me. Show, why don't you show me? Oh, throw it through me. Unfolding love. Flow, Spirit, flow through me as you open up to be an expression of your unfolding peace. Show every day, every way, let Spirit flow through you. Oh, unfolding love.
Some possible acting situations, but would you stand in that? Annette, if you want to bake some pies, see me if you're interested in maybe our introductory course to the teaching. And please stand. Please join hands. And let's take a moment and just feel the hands that we hold. They remind us that we're all connected to each other. That's the truth. That's just the truth. So let's just breathe into this experience of connection and oneness and universal love, divine love. So just breathe deeply into your heart, experience a full, open heart of love. And let's just know together that as we leave here, we radiate this love out to the world. And let's know this together as we say. So it is.
I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm on it for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith, I see the light, and I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only in for God. All right, they're going to get ready to move the chairs out for our community time. And know that as you go throughout this day and people see you shining your light so brightly, and they go, hey, where can I go? Tell them, come join me at